Hi, I'm Visha with the CBD store by Nature Pure Life. We'd like to tell you a little bit about CBD, what it does, why you might be able to use it to help with your health concerns. First, I'm biased. We own the CBD store by Nature Pure Life. We're in Lake Jackson, Texas. And also, we are online at localcbd.store. What is CBD and what does it do for you? According to the FDA, I am not allowed to tell you all the fabulous things that we have found that CBD does unless there's a real live doctor study for it or we have anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence is when somebody tells us a story about what it actually did for them. Why are we here? Once upon a time, my husband, Frank, had brain cancer and I had an ugly rash. I didn't pay attention to the rash at all because there were more important things to worry about with Frank. He had surgery, then he had to go through rehab to learn to walk again and talk again. And about 3 years after his surgery, his new neurologist asked if he was using CBD. We'd never heard of it. On the way home, we stopped at a gas station to get gas, and they had some on the counter. I thought that was a sign. We bought it. He used it. It was green, it was gloppy, it was awful. It tasted like old sock water. But within a week, he was off the opioids, off hydrocodone and all that stuff that the doctor had put him on for pain. Within about 2 weeks after that, he was off gabapentin, which had been prescribed for the nerve damage that had been done by the surgery. We did some studying online, we researched, we looked at stuff, we found out it didn't have to be green, it didn't have to be gloppy, and it didn't have to taste bad. We bought some that actually did not have any taste to it, and that's where our adventure started. We started at farmers markets by selling the CBD, and within 6 months we opened a store. We are firm believers in what CBD can do for you. The Real Doctor studies, and we do have some links. If you would like to contact us, we'll be happy to give those to you. For people who have rheumatoid or osteoarthritis, if you take CBD oil on a regular basis, twice a day, every day, it will stop the progression of the arthritis, so it will never get any worse than it is now. Any human being over 30 has arthritis. You may not know it yet, you may not have the symptoms, the pain, the stiffness, but it's there. If for no other reason in the world other than the arthritis, take CBD oil twice a day, every day. For people who have things like Alzheimer's, dementia, ALS, there are studies out there that are showing that people who take CBD oil on a regular basis will have some cognitive function restoration, and it may prevent those diseases from getting worse. The studies are now being done to find out whether it actually stops those from starting up. So by taking CBD oil, you may never have Alzheimer's or dementia, which is fabulous. For people with anxiety or depression, CBD oil seems to calm those diseases and stops people from being so anxious, which allows you to go to sleep. It relaxes you. One of the most fabulous things that are being done research-wise right now is in PTSD. Obviously, people with PTSD have multiple problems, not just a problem with anxiety or depression, but also with panic attacks and things related to those. And a lot of them tend to self-medicate and even commit suicide because of the PTSD. Because CBD does not follow the same pathways as many of the drugs that are prescribed for depression or anxiety, what research is finding is that the CBD will bind to certain memory receptors and stop memories from being traumatic. You still have the memory. The things still happen to you. It's not going to make you forget them. But what CBD does is it stops that loop of the PTSD. So instead of having that memory not only be a trauma, but continue to be a trauma, it stops the loop from happening. And a lot of people who have PTSD have had great results with CBD. What is CBD oil? It's cannabidiol. We as human beings have something called the endocannabinoid system. I know that they sound very much the same, and trust me, they are. We have receptors throughout our body, and when we take CBD oil, the CBD meets the endocannabinoid system. They kiss, they love each other, and they do wonderful things in our body. CBD follows different pathways for calming pain and anxiety than things like hydrocodone and antidepressants. They do not use the dopamine pathways. They use the endocannabinoid system and the receptors that are throughout our body. When I mentioned arthritis earlier, I told you that it is shown in the studies that it helps with arthritis. One of the ways that it does that is it will go through the pain pathways and stop the pain, but the latest studies also show that it repairs the little sac thingies that are between the bones and the fluid within those sacs so that you don't have the bone-on-bone grinding. There are two ways to take CBD. One is in a sugar base. Well, there are other ways, but we'll only discuss two of them here. We have CBD oil and CBD in a sugar base like gummies. In an oil, the CBD starts to metabolize within an hour, hour and a half, stays in the system 10 to 12 hours, drops off, time for your next dose. The normal human dose is between 17 and 35 milligrams a day, and 90% of our customers are on that dose. Once you find your dose, you don't have to increase it. It's not one of those that your body builds a tolerance to and you have to keep taking more and more to get the same result. In a sugar base, CBD hits a lot faster because sugar metabolizes more quickly. So 15, 20 minutes, you start feeling the results. It lasts about 4 to 5 hours, drops off, and it's gone. So that is used more for things like panic attacks. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be driving in the big city and there are overpasses and those freak me out. I'm talking in front of a bunch of people and that worries me. Those kind of things. For chronic conditions, the oil is a lot better. We recommend that you use CBD oil.